Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David, answering viewer questions here. Ronn Brock asks, if I would do an update on Ukraine and maybe when Putin will be no more. Thank you. Okay. I did one fairly recently. I did a tinfoil hat does Putin have a body double? Is he dead type video. My last Ukraine video, which was about end of May, I think. I was seeing what looked like a rapid victory for Ukraine and downfall for Russia. And at that point, I was speculating, it could very well be that Putin's gone within the first week or two of June. Well, I don't think that was an accurate interpretation. But it does appear that the offensive has started. I think we get impatient with how much ground we want to see taken to say, they should just rout him. There's a whole lot of fighting and a whole lot of dying that's going to happen during this offensive. There is one person I watch, I think his name is Left or Left Center on TikTok. And he puts up videos every day on fighting in the Ukraine. And he'll isolate it on a map with arrows showing where the conflicts are. He'll overlay drone footage and other footage and source information, kind of giving updates in like a military reporter kind of fashion. He's definitely biased towards Ukraine, but it's a great way to get up to speed on the actual clashes and what's going on, part of the strategies that might be employed there. So I'd recommend that. But as far as this goes, let's get an update with Ukraine. How are things going in Ukraine right now? Just a quick little four-carder, I think, should suffice. And we'll see what's going on. What's going on with Ukraine? Okay. Summer's here and the time's right for dancing in the streets. They're on the move. They are on the move. They've unleashed the sunflowers, and they're going for it. We got the Two of Pentacles, King of Pentacles, Queen of Swords, and the Ace of Pentacles. So one of the things that I have been seeing when I was looking up the news stories was like the head of NATO was saying that Ukraine's doing really well in the offensive and that NATO needs to keep supplying Ukraine to help continue to fund this offensive. And another story was from Putin's warning the Western countries to stop supplying Ukraine with weapons. So basically, I think what you can take away from that is Putin's panicking. He doesn't want Ukraine to have Western weapons because he doesn't have an answer for them. It's kicking his butt. Western weapons in the hands of Ukrainians equals defeat for Russia on the ground. That's what that means. Also, Putin signed an order greatly restricting travel out of Russia for anybody who is basically male and of conscription age. So Putin's looking at, having another major draft to bring more people to the meat grinder because right now his best military strategy is to continue throwing bodies at the problem. Lovely. Okay, so what do we have here? What's going on is we've got the Sun card. Summer's here. The offense has started. Truth is going to be known. And truly, I think over the course of the summer, Ukraine is going to roll Russia. They are just going to do it. Central underneath it is this Putin? No, I think this is the Western countries continuing to supply the money and the material needed for them to complete the task at hand. And again, central underneath this card, underneath all of this, is the Ace of Pentacles. It's the offering of items of value, whether it's intelligence, war material, or food or other money for other things. Ukraine's getting the support. And so long as they're getting that support, they're going to be doing fine. Ukraine's juggling. What are they juggling? Notice the water underneath there. They're juggling the advancement as well as supply lines, and civilians. Now, as we all know, a very large dam was blown up right as the offensive was starting. And news reports are out today that Russia has been blowing up smaller dams. Russia blowing up dams is a way to try to delay the offensive and allow the Russians to regroup, escape, flee in a more orderly fashion. They're delaying tactics. And they obviously don't care about the consequences to the civilians in that area. All they care about is winning at all costs. And they will, it's scorched earth, destroy everything in our path. If Ukraine wins, they're going to win a country full of rubble. But from Ukraine's point of view, yeah, but it's our rubble. So Ukraine has to balance the expeditiousness of the offensive with making sure that they're not putting too many civilians in harm's way. Not to mention, one of the key things again with military battles is supply lines. Maintaining your supply lines. You've got to keep your tanks fed with ammo and fuel. You got to keep your soldiers fed with ammo and fuel. You need all that support in those logistics. Not to mention, we haven't seen the air fight yet. I really think this thing's going when Ukraine decides to grab not only air superiority, but air supremacy. Once they have air supremacy, it's going to be a cakewalk at that point. The other thing underneath it is the Queen of Swords. This is making the right decision, not the emotional decision. This is making the strategic decision. So as for instance, in the first few days of this offensive, the Ukrainians weren't taking settlements. They were taking the high ground around the settlements. And by doing that and basically starting to surround the settlements from the high ground, the Russians who were holding the settlements underneath, they were in an extremely disadvantageous position because they're fighting uphill. And the Ukrainians can just rain fire down on them. So the Russians fled. They fled the town. Ukrainians took the town without having to fire a shot. That's how you do it. That's a Queen of Swords moment. We want to free the town a week earlier, but it's better to free the town a week later and not take any casualties in the process of doing that. So that's kind of what's going on with Ukraine right now, is that their offensive has started. They've got the financial support. And as long as that financial support keeps coming in at the current levels that it's meeting their needs, they've got this thing. They absolutely have this thing. And there's nothing Russia can do to stop it. They can keep throwing bodies. The more bodies Russia throws into this, the more likely the people are going to revolt against the leadership in Russia, because it's a lost cause. And Russia doesn't care. They don't care. They'll blow up dams and kill civilians because they just freaking don't care. Their ego is such, or at least the leader's ego is such, that the military victory is way more important than the human cost. Now, any cynic out there could say that's true for any war objective, and they probably would be right. But Russia has specifically been targeting civilians, trying to make life miserable for them. I get blowing up dams to cover your retreat. I get that part. But that doesn't make it any less of a war crime, even if I understand it, right? Okay, what's the second part of your question, Ron? And maybe when Putin will be no more. Okay. Give me an update on good old Vlad here. What's going on with Vlad? Vlad's still alive? Issuing orders? Threatening the West? Maybe he should ride shirtless on a horse. Maybe that's what he needs. What's Vlad doing? Oh, is Vlad the King of Pentacles? There's the King of Pentacles himself. There's Vladimir Putin right there. King of Cups. You got Biden, backroom deals, delusions, and the Chariot. Okay, so I think Putin's still around. I don't think we have a body double going on here. We've got the King of Pentacles as Vlad. He's sitting in his throne. well, ruling Russia and doing all the things. But right now, this king is not looking really comfortable. And why do I say that? Because this king needs to make some backroom deals. There's Western sanctions on Russia, which is really tanking their economy. And although they've been able to put a smokescreen over it or delay things on it or misrepresent things, it really is hurting their economy. And there's not much more the Russian economy can take. And people are going to suffer. Your typical Russians are going to suffer for it. They already are suffering for it. But this could also be trying to figure out a backroom deal to help the King of Pentacles save a little face. Biden's on board with it. Reaching out. I'm assuming the U.S. is going to be the one who's going to try and broker some type of peace deal with Russia regarding Ukraine. But the problem is that Vlad, he ain't as sharp as he used to be, apparently. He's not strategically evaluating his position accurately. In other words, he's overplaying his hand. And he thinks he's got a much better hand than he really does. He doesn't even have pocket deuces, you know? He is overplaying his hand and he doesn't understand, probably because part of it's he's going cray-cray. The other part is he's not getting accurate information. So he really doesn't know what's fully going on. He doesn't know the state of disrepair that his army is in. Underneath it all, we have the Chariot. Things are grinding forward, or in the case of Russia, they're grinding backwards as they retreat from the front lines, and they're going to keep retreating as Ukraine keeps pushing forward. So is Vlad gone? No, but I think the Western countries are probably reaching out to negotiate with him to try and see if we can come to some understanding. I think you need to include Ukraine in those discussions. So that's why it's a Three of Pentacles. You have Ukraine, you've got Russia, and then the third coin is either the United States or NATO, as it were. Will it work? We'll find out. But right now, Russia needs a black eye. They need to get their eye. They need to be beaten bloody before Putin. Actually, that won't matter. That won't matter. If they get beaten bloodied, then people or oligarchs will finally get brave enough to remove Putin. Putin's not going to step down. He's going to have to be removed. Or he's going to have to run because he knows they're coming to remove him. Just the way it is. Okay, Ron, thank you very much for your questions. Nope, carrying on. Thank you, everybody, for supporting my channel and watching this video. And I hope to catch you on the next one. Take care.